There's so many similarities to running an effective race and actually winning a race to actually winning and being successful in your real estate business. What I want to do today is I want to break down some of these similarities and show you how to run an effective and successful race in real estate. You know, there's so many similarities to running races and running in real estate that I really want to break some of these down for you today. How this all started is I've got a 14-year-old son that after the pandemic was over, he came home on the first day he went back to school and he said, "Hey Dad, I think I'm going to go in and I'm going to actually join the cross country team." He was in 8th grade at that time, and I said, "Well son, if you want to do that, that would be great. Are you willing to actually go out there and run 3 to 5 miles every afternoon so you can spend a little extra time with kids your age?" And he said, I actually would like to do that. So he got involved with running, and all of a sudden, as he began to see some successes, I began to see some of the similarities to running an effective race and actually a runner to what it takes to be effective and actually successful in real estate. And so what I want to do today is I really want to break some of these things down, because as I've found, if you can run the race in real estate in an effective way, success is right around the corner. The first point is this: the more you run, the faster you get. You know, in real estate, if we're using this analogy, in real estate, actually, the more you do of something, the better you're going to get at it. I can tell you this: if you go out and you run 2 miles a day for the next 30 days, I promise you, you're going to be more efficient and your time is going to be better in 30 days than it is on the first time that you run it. It's the same way in real estate. What is it that you need to do on a consistent basis to be able to get better at it? If you're worried and you're like, "I don't do good on video," if you shoot a video a day, I promise you for the next 30 days from now, your video is going to be more effective. You're going to be better at it. If you're really a little struggle with maybe picking up the phone and making some cold calls or doing some circle prospecting, I promise if you'll make 5 to 10 calls every day for the next 30 days from now, you're going to be way more efficient and better at making those calls. Whatever it is in your real estate business where you have a little bit of discomfort, lean into that discomfort, because the more you do of those things, the better you're going to get at them. Number 2 is you have to be prepared to perform. Listen, none of us can perform at the level we want to perform at if we're not prepared. There are some similarities to running here. Listen, physically, the better you are prepared physically, the better you're going to do in a race. But it's the same way in our real estate business. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you actually eating correctly where you don't feel just like you're bloated all day and you don't have any energy? What is it that you're doing to prepare yourself? Are you physically breaking a sweat every day so that you have the energy when everybody else begins to fade in the afternoon? You still got energy to be able to do your business and be your best for your clients. You see, when you prepare properly, you perform better. Number 3 is find your pace and run your own race. Listen, my son, when he first started, he would start out so fast because he wanted to keep up with everybody right out of the gate that he would burn himself out and he wouldn't be able to finish in the way that he needed to, and he would fade as the race went on. It's the same way in real estate. Listen, it's so hard right now, especially with social media. You'll see, what are the other agents doing? And you're like, "Gosh, I got to go do that." What is it that other agents are doing? And you say, "Gosh, I've got to get good at that," when maybe it's not what's best for you. Ultimately, you have to find your pace. What is it that you can do that's sustainable? And understand, this is a long-term race we're running in real estate, not a sprint. What is it that you need to do in a way where you find a pace that you can keep up with consistently over time? And then you have to understand, as much as you can, block out what everybody else is doing. Just run your race, do what you do best, and add that value to clients, and I promise your business is going to grow. Number 4 is push through the pain. I got to tell you this story. My son, this last year, 9th grade year, he's at the regional qualifier actually for the state championship for the state of Florida, and he's coming around and he's got a couple of people on his team, and he's got one kid that he's been running with for a while that has been really faster than him, and this kid really is talented. And so I get to the first mile, and you got to understand, with cross country, you're out in the woods where they're running. They run out and around, and they've got 3.1 miles of running a 5K. And so after the first mile, I see him, and he's right on the hip of this other kid, and I'm looking at the time he's on. I said, "Hey son, you're at a great pace. Settle in. Just keep staying on his hip, and you got this." And I'm encouraging both of them. Y'all run together, push each other. I go to the second mile expecting that my son has probably had to fade a little bit. He's still right there. He's running right with this young man who's very talented. I get to the third mile, they got 0.1 mile left, and I look, and here they come. And I look at my son, and I'm like, "Son, let's go. Push through the pain. I know you're in pain right now. You've only got 0.1 miles. He looks right at me, and he goes, "Bleh," and throws up. And I said, "Swallow it, son. We got to keep going. You got plenty of time to be in pain. It won't last forever." And here's the kicker in this. The pain that you may be feeling in your real estate business, it won't last forever. Keep pushing through. Here's the difference, and this is the analogy to racing, and it's an analogy for life. When most people come up against a little pain, a little bit of trouble, a little bit of maybe something that is keeping them from being able to break through, they typically back off. But if you're going to be successful in real estate, and the top producers, what I've seen is that when they come into that, basically that place where they've maybe hit a wall and they don't feel like they can go through, they actually push through the pain. They move forward in a way that keeps them moving in that direction. Pain is temporary. Listen, we're going to have two kinds of pain. You're either going to have the pain of regret because you don't push through the pain right now, or you're going to have the temporary pain, but you're going to have the success on the other end that you're glad you pushed through. Whatever it is for you, work harder, take time to learn a new skill, push through the pain, and your business is going to grow. Last but not least, sprint when other people are fading. Listen, if you've done the work, if you've prepared yourself physically, mentally, and you're ready to run your race, you've put the miles in real estate, you've put all the preparation in, there's going to come a time where other people begin to fade. Listen, we're at a place where our market is shifting. The number of transactions will probably go down in the coming year, meaning that there are going to be less opportunities, but you still have a lot of agents out there. Here's what happens a lot of times, typically at this point in the cycle. This is a time where some of the agents that have done extremely well over the last few years, they'll begin to fade. They're like maybe a little fat and happy. They've gotten used to making a certain amount of living and they got some money in the bank, so they just decide, hey, it's a little tough out there now, I'm just going to coast for a little bit. This is the time when you as an agent have the opportunity to rake market share. Because listen, when you sprint, when others are fading, all of a sudden you make up ground. This is what I want to give you the race analogy. The last 200, 300, 400 yards actually of a race is the time when people finish wherever it is, they really make up ground or they fade away. That's the most important time of the race in a lot of cases is. Are you at a place where you see other people beginning to pull back a little bit because the market looks a little different, because maybe the things that worked in the last year don't work as well now? Maybe it's because they don't want to go out and fight when they're looking at having to fight through multiple offers. What is it in your business where you see other agents begin to fade? Listen, let that be a cue that when you begin to see other people fade, you begin to run in even harder, finish strong. Right now, and the place we're at in this market cycle is the opportunity for you to gain market share like never before. I only believe it's going to get better going into the rest of this year and into next year. Make sure that you know that when everybody else begins to pull back, that you run in, and you run in with a plan of action that's going to help you gain that market share. So what is it for you? What do you need to do to make sure that you're ready to run this race in real estate? Whatever you see in your future, what is it that you know that if you do certain things, you're going to do them? Have the discipline to do those things now. Find your pace and run your own race. And ultimately, as other people begin to fade, you run in and you sprint through that time. And I promise you're going to gain market share. Hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. I specifically chose the video below for you because it builds on the one you just watched. I hope it's helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.